This assembly will come to order. Please remain standing. The invocation will be delivered by the college chaplain, Jeffrey McCarn.
As we begin, we ask in our many, many different ways that a blessing might fall upon us. We have before us a room full of excellence, young people we know and love, brimming with brilliance in reflective thought, in sport, in artistic expression, in humor, in compassion, in analytic ability. Bless us with the opportunity to have these gifts, like transformers, morph themselves into the healing of a vulnerable world. To our right and to our left, in this room, we are swimming in a sea of love, best friends, profound family connections, people from whom we have learned the sacred, enduring lessons of loving other human beings. Bless us with a heart to feed that love as individuals and as a community to the many people in our world, some of whom are in this room with us, who are strangers to the experience of belonging, who know the bitter humiliation of being seen as not worth your time. If peace is a reality, we call on the power of peace to lead us into the blessing of binding our wildly diverse lives together in a single beloved community where mutual trust is a higher virtue than individual accomplishment. If justice is true, we call on the power of justice to save us from the false notion that protecting our own self-interests is the pathway to happiness. If love is what our universe is made of, if love is at the heart of what is important to us when all is said and done, bless us, individually and as a community, with the abiding desire and courage to follow the way of love, even when it calls us to abandon the assumed values of our world. Shower your blessings upon our college, upon our strategic vision for our way ahead, upon our leaders, those here now and those about to join us, upon our faculty, those who are retiring, those who are just beginning their work, those who continue on, and bless this amazing class of 2017 and their beloved families, that we all may hear the call in our own way to do the work of bringing light into this gathering and to our world. Amen and amen.
Please continue to remain standing while we sing America the Beautiful, the words to which are printed in your program. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to present the 20th President of Hamilton College, David Whitman.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome. Welcome to our honored guests, and a special welcome to the Hamilton College class of 2017. "90-some years ago, H.G. Wells observed that human history is becoming more and more a race between education and catastrophe. He may have been right. Occasionally, I have the misfortune of reading the newspaper. Syria is crumbling. North Korea is threatening supermighty preemptive strikes. The ice caps are melting. Household debt is ballooning. And if that's not bad enough, I needed help from Colgate to win the men's Hamtramck relay. These are daunting problems, and there are many more. But as President John F. Kennedy once observed, our problems are man-made. Therefore, they may be solved by man. No problem of human destiny is beyond human beings. Setting aside Kennedy's choice of pronouns, I think Wells and Kennedy are both right. If we are not wise, we are in trouble. If we do not educate the next generation to solve the problems we leave them, we have only ourselves to blame. Education is what turns closed minds into open ones, shows us possibilities we might never otherwise see, tells us what we don't know, and how to learn what we need to know. We have given the graduates here today the finest education possible, but it's not quite over. Graduates, we leave you with one final assignment. Use your education wisely. What that means is really for you to decide. At the end of the day, you will be the judge who matters most. In his last words, Leonardo da Vinci judged his own life this way: "I have offended God and mankind because my work did not reach the quality it should have." Yep, everybody's a critic. I trust you will use your own education to promote the welfare of others as well as your own. And when the time comes, I hope you will be a little easier on yourself than Leonardo. Before we say more about the members of the class, I want to thank the parents, grandparents, and family members who have supported you over the years. Will the families of our graduates please rise? I wish also to express our profound appreciation to the faculty, the coaches, and advisors who served you these 4 years. Will our faculty and coaches please stand and receive our appreciation? This academic year marks the retirement of Professors Rand Carter, Dave Gapp, Tom Jones, Nat Strout, Rick Werner, Bonnie Urcioli. Will they please stand? Thank you for your many years of service to the college. Employees of the college have worked long and lovingly on the arrangements for this weekend. It's amazing what they're able to do. We thank the offices of the Dean and President, Audiovisual Services, Bon Appetit, Campus Safety, Communications, LITS, Physical Plant, and the Registrar's Office. I am pleased now to introduce our esteemed Chairman of the Board, Stephen Sadoff, class of 1973.
Thank you, David. Good morning. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I welcome our esteemed faculty, honored guests, and most of all, our graduates. Your accomplishments these past 4 years fill us with pride, and we look forward to your continued involvement as you join the ranks of Hamilton alumni. Since the day you arrived on College Hill, you have faced intellectual challenges with persistence and determination. You have developed and honed skills that you will call upon for the rest of your life. At Hamilton, you have laid the foundation for perpetual learning. Your lives, both professional and personal, will be richer for it. Your friends, teachers, and coaches will miss seeing you on campus every day, but we know you will continue to remain connected. I hope that you'll take every advantage of opportunities to volunteer, for each of you is forever a member of the Hamilton family. No matter how far from Clinton your life takes you, Hamilton will never leave you. It is now my pleasure to introduce Interim Dean of Faculty, Margaret Gentry.
Good morning. Today is a day of celebration, not just for you, the soon-to-be graduates of the class of 2017 who sit in front of us today, but also for your parents, your families, your friends. It's a celebration for the faculty as well, albeit a bittersweet one. We are incredibly proud of you, the graduates. As a faculty, we have taught and learned with and from you for 4 years. We have watched you change, develop, and discover your passions. And today, we, the faculty, sit beside your family and friends. We join the audience and the supporting cast of your future. On behalf of the faculty, I thank the soon-to-be graduates of the class of 2017 for these years, and I wish you a meaningful and joyful life. I now ask the James Soper Merrill Prize recipient, Alec Telsonia, to join me on the stage. The James Soper Merrill Prize, established in memory of James Soper Merrill by his cousin, James P. Soper, class of 1911, is awarded at commencement to that member of the graduating class who in character and influence has best typified the highest ideals of the college. Selected by the faculty, the recipient is presented with a gold watch. Alec is a chemistry and Hispanic studies double major who's been on Dean's List every semester he's been at Hamilton. He spent a semester in Madrid with Hamilton's academic year in Spain. He's been captain of the men's soccer team as both a junior and senior, and was named to NESCAC's all-academic team in 2015, 16, and 17. Professor of Physical Education, head soccer coach Perry Nizzi writes, "As a player, Alec is everything and more than a coach could ever ask for. Alec's easily approachable and friendly personality is only the beginning of his many unique and admirable characteristics. His commitment and dedication to his coaches, teammates, and institution are unparalleled. His ability to drive the team to higher levels by example and yet showing compassion when needed is a very special quality he possesses, one that I think will serve him well in his future." Assistant Professor of Chemistry, Farah Dawood writes, "Alec is one of the most intelligent, dedicated, empathetic, driven, curious, and respectful students whom I've come to know at Hamilton. He is an excellent example of someone who embodies the highest ideals of Hamilton, both in achievement and character. For his excellent research, intuition, intellectual depth, and work ethic, Alec was awarded the Norton Prize, which is for an undergraduate who demonstrates the greatest capacity for research in chemistry. And finally, visiting Assistant Professor of Hispanic Studies, Paul Norberg writes, Alec will remain one of the most memorable students I have had the pleasure to work with. Alec was a sophomore in a class full of seniors, many of whom had studied abroad in Madrid and had very high levels of Spanish competency. Regardless, Alec constantly participated in class discussions and turned in great, original, and innovative work. We talked about his annual trips to Guatemala to give medical help to rural communities, and as a gesture of kindness, he brought me back a bag of coffee beans this semester after our class was done. He participated in the Spanish tutoring at the local elementary school. We spoke about his desire to become a doctor, a surgeon like his father, and continue to help people as his father has all these years. Students like Alec are why this job is so gratifying and rewarding, and I can't think of a better senior who represents the ideals of a Hamilton students. Please join me in congratulating the James Soper Merrill Prize winner, Alec Telsonia.
Thank you, Dean Gentry, for the kind introduction. Good morning. Greetings to families, faculty, staff, trustees, President Whitman, honored guests, and most especially, fellow classmates of the class of 2017. Thank you for joining us today. 2 weeks ago, I thought I was nervous presenting my senior chemistry thesis to an audience of 50 familiar faculty members and peers during what I assumed to be my last bit of public speaking for quite a while. However, I'm very honored, but more nervous today, to be speaking in front of more than 5,000 as a recipient of this award. Classmates, although we have had all different experiences at Hamilton, taken different courses, lived in different buildings, and been involved in different extracurricular activities, I can say with certainty that each of us has spent time walking down Martin's Way. Today, I invite you, along with me, on Martin's Way one last time, to reflect both on our time on College Hill and what I believe makes this college so special. Parents, you may know Martin's Way as where you first saw the varsity streaking team during Accepted Students Day. For those in the audience that don't know, Martin's Way is a red brick path that was built to connect the campus. It spans from Kerner Johnson all the way to the Bundy Scott Fieldhouse where we are this morning. The path connects what was Hamilton and Kirkland, what we now know as the light and dark sides or the north and south sides of campus. It was named to honor Martin Caravano, the 16th president of Hamilton College, who presided from 1974 to 1988 during the period that Hamilton and Kirkland colleges were integrated. As our walk begins down Martin's Way, I would like to start our journey walking out of Welland Performance Hall, where as classmates, we all sat together during freshman orientation. On our way outside from Welland, we first see the rock swing, which symbolizes the rocky yet somehow stable and secure journey we were all about to embark on. For many of us, the first stop on this journey was a freshman class in Kerner Johnson, or KJ. This was not the case for me, though. I could jokingly convince people that I had never stepped foot in KJ, as I basically lived in the Taylor Science Center and Christian Johnson, taking science and Spanish classes. That all changed this past fall, though, when I enjoyed a communications class, the social history of advertising, with a fabulous professor, the late Dr. Tom Phelan. Dr. Tom's class left an imprint on me of the importance of a liberal arts education. He exemplified the characteristics of all Hamilton faculty who teach many academically diverse courses. We are fortunate to have such accessible and passionate professors to mold us into well-rounded thinkers who are able to connect concepts and ideas across multiple disciplines. As we leave KJ, we cross the bridge. We see the spectacular new Kennedy Arts Center, Beinecke Village, the Sadov Student Center, and the Little Pub. These are places where the arts come to life, where student organizations find their homes, and where we can relax, eat, and drink with friends, faculty, and family. The names associated with these buildings, and all the others we pass, represent the extraordinary impact of the Hamilton family. The alumni legacy of financial and volunteer support has had amazing influence on the quality of our Hamilton experience. Today, we join this tremendous network, and our challenge will be to impact future Hamilton students as those who have come before have done for us. As we cross College Hill Road, we walk by the bronze map of the college that we will all finally be able to walk on later today. For the non-Hamiltonians, college superstition has taught us not to walk on the college map, or else we are cursed not to graduate. Good news, it appears we have all avoided the curse. Next, we pass Soper Hall of Commons, where we have been greeted by the employees during our many meals. They represent the importance of the entire college staff in making sure this school runs smoothly. They take pride in keeping us fed, our campus beautiful and safe, our bones warm during the long winters, and so much more. Across from Commons, we see Dunham Residence Hall, where many of our parents dropped us off and helped us move into our first college room. Let this stop serve as a reminder to all of us to be thankful for the support from our families who have made this journey possible. Next, we see Love Field, Steuben Field, Blood Fitness and Dance Center, and Sage Rink, which reminds us of the role of athletics, both as athletes and fans cheering each other on. We remember our coaches who have pushed us in the classroom as hard as they have on the fields, believing in the true student-athlete experience. Our last stop is the Bundy Scott Fieldhouse, where we all sit today for our graduation. This gathering is a true testament and celebration of all of our hard work over the past 4 years. We pass by many reminders of how special Hamilton College is, but I've yet to mention what I believe to be the most meaningful about our walk down Martin's Way. To me, it is the friends that we have encountered on this path. We have made these friends in our classrooms, studios, and laboratories, in our dorms, on our sports teams, and through student organizations. These are the friends who we have stayed up late with studying, conversed around the dining tables with, and have challenged and engaged us to think about new ideas and perspectives. These friends have helped us through the tough times, celebrated the good times with us, and made us smile and laugh through it all. These are the lifelong friends who all sit next to us today. We have traveled down Martin's Way for 4 years together, but now we will go in new directions. As we move through life's paths, let us carry with us Hamilton memories and the enduring friendships made during our time on the Hill. It has been an honor to walk along with you all these last 4 years. Thank you.
Your commencement program lists the names of those students who've been singled out by their academic departments and interdisciplinary programs to receive concentration honors and who have been chosen as senior fellows. I also draw your attention to the names of students who won national awards, fellowships, prize scholarships, and achievement prizes at Class and Charter Day. You will find the names of students inducted into Scholastic Honor Societies listed in your program as well. And you'll find the names of all our students whose graduation today marks a singular accomplishment. Please join me in congratulating all these students who achieved these significant honors. The award of Valedictorian is made to the student with the highest grade point average in the class of 2017. This year, 2 students tied for that honor, each with the same grade point, 4.035. I asked the class of 2017 co-valedictorians, Jonah Boucher and Elizabeth Prescott, to step forward and join me on the stage. Jonah is an environmental studies and mathematics double major. Besides the numerous mathematics and science courses that he's taken, Jonah has also taken courses in philosophy, anthropology, and writing. Associate Professor of Biology Mike McCormick writes, Jonah is an extraordinary scholar, combining lightning-quick wit, omnivorous curiosity, and unstoppable work ethic. Jonah's academic talents are exceeded only by his affability. In fact, that is his only flaw, perpetual niceness. I tried to cure him of this. Whenever there was an awful job to do in my lab, I would ask Jonah. Professor McCormick, hey Jonah, want to tape 300 floats on a wire while crawling around on your knees for 3 hours? Jonah, love to. Professor McCormick, anyone want to haul heavy anchors up through 200 feet of water and wipe toxic mud off them? Jonah, me. This may be the character flaw that Hamilton just can't fix. I was delighted to learn Jonah is postponing applying to graduate school to teach in a Chicago high school for the next 2 years through AmeriCorps. He says he doesn't know what he's going to do in the long run, but whatever that is, I know one thing with certainty, the world is going to be a better place for it. And Professor of Mathematics Rob Kantrowitz writes about Jonah, there are some students who bring attributes to the classroom that I wish all students had. Interest, enthusiasm, dedication, flexibility, curiosity, patience, an open and positive attitude. And there are some students whom I meet and think, I hope that my own children grow up to be such upstanding, wonderful people. Jonah is in both categories. Elizabeth Prescott. Elizabeth is a classical languages and psychology double major. In addition to her courses in psychology and classics, she has taken courses in history, music, literature, and anthropology. Assistant Professor of Psychology Rachel White writes, Elizabeth Prescott completed her senior project in my lab this year. Beth is nothing sort of exceptional. She's incredibly bright, insightful, and hardworking. Beth's passion for clinical psychology led her to study the topic of broad autism phenotype, or BAP, a set of social and communication deficits that are related to but not as severe as those seen in autism spectrum disorders. Beth discovered that BAP, like autism, is linked to loneliness and difficulty understanding others' feelings. Importantly, Beth also found that college students with BAP had higher levels of depression and ADHD than their peers, underscoring the struggles that students with BAP can face in their everyday life. This coming fall, Beth will continue to pursue her academic interest in autism through a master's program in applied behavioral analysis at Western New England University. Associate Professor of History John Eldevick writes about Beth. It's not very often that a shy first-year student raises her hand in your class to point out that the passage of a Norse saga you're discussing actually contains a reference to a story from Virgil's Aeneid, and then goes on to write a brilliant paper showing that this story appears in numerous works of Western literature as a way of framing narratives of conquest and colonization. Beth is a scholar in the truest sense of the term, a great intellect buoyed by insatiable curiosity with an eye for that one thing that's just slightly out of place. Please congratulate our valedictorians, Jonah Boucher and Elizabeth Prescott.
We are honored today by the presence of 4 individuals whose accomplishments in the world of art, politics, and philanthropy we wanted to recognize. With the conferral of honorary degrees, they become distinguished members of the Hamilton community. I call now on Susan Scarrett, Charter Trustee, to present our first candidate for an honorary degree.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present for the degree of Doctor of Laws, John Bonnell Emerson. As a student on College Hill in the early 1970s, you participated in anti-war rallies and canvassed New York precincts on behalf of George McGovern. Several years later, after receiving your law degree from the University of Chicago, you moved to California and joined a prestigious firm specializing in business and entertainment law before serving as Chief Deputy City Attorney in the Los Angeles City Attorney's Office. You remained active in politics, working on campaigns in the 1980s for Jerry Brown and Gary Hart, and even ran for state assembly in 1991. Your early lead in that campaign made you a target, but you refused to go negative. "My gut told me not to," you said. And then, even though you lost by just 31 votes, you opted not to request a recount. Your friends say those decisions capture the essence of who you are. An opponent's political consultant in that race called you terminally nice. You broke through with a victory in 1992 when you served as Bill Clinton's campaign manager in California and were rewarded with a White House appointment. During your time in Washington, you worked on personnel issues, advised on trade matters, acted as a liaison to the state governors, and served as the president's emissary to California after the 1994 Northridge earthquake. Following your White House tenure, you joined Capital Group, one of the world's largest investment management firms. You were leading the company's private client services group when Barack Obama picked you to become U.S. Ambassador to Germany, an opportunity you called the honor of my life, and for which you received the 2015 Sue M. Cobb Award for Exemplary Diplomatic Service, given annually to one non-career ambassador. For exemplary service to your country and proving that nice guys still have a place in politics, we honor you today. Yes.
John Emerson, acting on the authority of the Board of Trustees, I confer on you the degree of Doctor of Law of Hamilton College, admitting you to all its rights and privileges. In token whereof, we present you with this diploma and invest you with this hood. I now call on Jeff Little, Charter Trustee and Vice Chairman of the Hamilton Board, to present our next candidate.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present for the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters, Nancy Rube. Your life's work has focused on helping people in poverty, especially the young and most vulnerable. That dedication is evident in your latest bold effort to dramatically increase funding for high-performing nonprofits, serving America's most economically disadvantaged youth. If successful, the country will benefit greatly, even though the foundation you lead will go out of existence. Since becoming the head of the Edna McConnell Clark Foundation in 2005, you have pioneered a concept that combines the resources of like-minded philanthropists to make large, long-term investments in nonprofits that help poor children. The increase in funding is substantial, but it comes with a catch. The organizations must demonstrate their success and be able to increase their capacity to change the lives of even more children in America. At a time when the urgent needs of children and youth are on the rise, you wrote in 2016, "It is deeply frustrating to me how hard it is for even the most successful nonprofit leaders to grow their organizations to meet these needs. We are woefully underinvesting in what works." What began as an experiment has become the Foundation's core investment strategy. Since 2007, your organization and its partners have deployed nearly $500 million to support what you and your board chair called exceptional nonprofit leaders, their organizations, and most importantly, the young people they serve. Today, that funding collaborative is called Blue Meridian Partners, and it will provide the largest ever infusion of private capital to high-performing nonprofits serving children and youth. A significant portion of that money will come from the Edna McConnell Clark Foundation, which plans to spend down all of its nearly $1 billion in assets during the next decade. Together, you said, we will fully capitalize great nonprofits to get the job done for children whose lives depend on it. On behalf of the young people whose lives will be transformed by the idea you initiated, we honor you today.
Nancy Rube, acting on the authority of the Board of Trustees, I confer on you the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters of Hamilton College, admitting you to all of its rights and privileges. In token whereof, we present you with this diploma and invest you with this hood. I call on Kevin Kennedy, Life Trustee, to present our final candidate. Oh, sorry, I missed one. My apologies. I call on Linda Johnson, Charter Trustee, to present a candidate.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present the degree of Doctor of Fine Arts to Adam Weinberg. From a young age, you were drawn to beauty in the world and understood the power of curation. A natural-born collector, you gathered rocks, shells, stamps, and butterflies in Westchester County. On regular trips into New York City, you roamed grander, more formal collections in the Met, the Modern, and the Whitney, eventually landing at the Guggenheim as an intern. It was the beginning of your career in preserving and promoting art, which in 2003 led you back to the Whitney. As the Alice Pratt Brown director, what you called the job you always wanted, you brought New York's Museum of American Art away from Museum Mile back to its home in Greenwich Village. It was a move that was bold and brave and has been well rewarded. In its first year, an astounding 1.3 million people visited the new museum, with expanded galleries for its renowned permanent collection and the first ever Whitney Education Center, which welcomes audiences of all ages to engage with living artists. Your commitment to art has always meant a commitment to education, from the Walker Center to the Addison Gallery at Phillips Academy, and now at the Whitney. At Hamilton, with the recent addition of the Wellen, we applaud your mission to make art accessible to everyone, especially unexpected and underserved audiences. For your determination to this end, and for all you have done to champion the arts, we honor you today.
Adam Weinberg, acting on the authority of the Board of Trustees, I confer on you the degree of Doctor of Fine Arts of Hamilton College, admitting you to all of its rights and privileges. In token whereof, we present you with this diploma and invest you with this hood. now call on Kevin Kennedy, Life Trustee, to present our final candidate.
Mr. President, I have the honor to present for the degree of Doctor of Law, Charles D. Baker. At a time when partisan politics has gridlocked government and public policy in our nation's capital, you and your colleagues in Massachusetts have set an example for working in a bipartisan manner on behalf of the people who elected you. As Republicans elected statewide, you and Lieutenant Governor Karen Polito have worked closely to build positive relationships with Massachusetts' democratically led legislature and local municipal offices across the Commonwealth. Just last month, your leadership was recognized by Massachusetts residents with an astounding approval rating of 75%, the highest in the country, and you have been consistently ranked among America's most popular governors. Getting along and listening to those with whom you disagree are skills you learned early on, having been raised by a conservative Republican father who worked in the Nixon and Reagan administrations and a liberal Democratic mother. My parents were very good at disagreeing without being disagreeable, you once said. You were elected as Massachusetts' 72nd governor in 2014, having previously served successfully in the Commonwealth's public and private sectors, including as a local selectman, where you reside in Swampscott, as the Secretary of Health and Human Services and Administration and Finance under your mentors, Governors Bill Weld and Paul Cellucci, and as Chief Executive Officer of Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare, turning a company on the brink of bankruptcy into America's best healthcare plan. Principled and direct, you earn high marks for your honesty and candor. While your Harvard BA and your Northwestern MBA have served and prepared you well, the Hamilton diploma we award you this morning is the cherry on top of the sundae. For a public service career built on civility and bipartisanship, and to fulfill an apparently long-held personal goal, we honor you today with a Hamilton degree.
Charlie Baker, acting on the authority of the Board of Trustees, I confer on you the degree of Doctor of Law of Hamilton College, admitting you to all its rights and privileges. In token whereof, we present you with this diploma and invest you with this hood. Our values at Hamilton are implicit in our mission, which is to prepare our students for lives of meaning, purpose, and active citizenship. We want our students to learn to think independently, embrace difference, write and speak persuasively, and engage issues ethically and creatively so that they can make a positive difference in the world. We emphasize to our students the importance of engaging with viewpoints with which they may disagree. Doing so is not always easy, and it is not always comfortable. But our speaker this morning provides evidence of the good that can be achieved when working cooperatively toward a cause greater than oneself, one's business, or one's party. As you just heard, Charlie Baker is not your typical politician. He is the only Republican elected to statewide office in the deep blue Commonwealth of Massachusetts, and almost 75% of voters approve of his work, extremely rare for a state's chief executive more than midway through his first term in office. But if Charlie Baker's success is unexpected, the reasons for it are not. At a time of extreme political polarization, Governor Baker is fully committed to compromise and collaboration, and to a core set of values that place bipartisanship and working together ahead of winning at all costs. He's also got a great sense of humor. A few years ago, when a journalist suggested that George Lucas should make an ad depicting him as Darth Vader, he tweeted back, "I am your father." Please join me in welcoming a fellow fan of the force, Hamilton College's 2017 commencement speaker, Charlie Baker.
Good morning, everybody. President Whitman, trustees, faculty, coaches, administrators, my three fellow honorees, Adam, Nancy, and John, family, friends, and soon-to-be graduates. I want to thank you very much for giving me this opportunity to speak with you today. And I especially want to congratulate all the graduates, and while we honor you and recognize your accomplishments, I hope you all know that the journey, the path that you took to get to this point here today is what really matters. Now, true confessions, I've been to 3 of my own graduations: high school, college, and graduate school. I have no idea who spoke at my high school graduation. German Chancellor Helmut Kohl spoke at my college graduation. I have no idea what he said. And General Motors CEO Roger Smith spoke at my business school graduation, and I have no idea what he said either. So I recognize the extremely high bar I have to climb over today to say anything worthwhile. I know that most of the graduates got about 3 hours of sleep last night, and I'm all that stands between you and your diploma. So let's start with this. I'm sure you're wondering why the governor of Massachusetts was selected to be your commencement speaker. The answer to that question turns up in a news story that was written in the fall of 2014, 2 weeks before the election. The candidates were asked to respond to something called the Proust Questionnaire. It's not about issues, it was more of a personal survey. One of the questions was, what is your greatest regret? I answered, not going to Hamilton College. True. I doubled down on that answer by saying I was never really very comfortable at Harvard. Needless to say, in Massachusetts, this response created a bit of a stir. Hamilton over Harvard, holy cow! All the rest of the issues faded away for a day or two as it reverberated around the Commonwealth. Now, shortly after that, a box of Hamilton College swag showed up on our front porch. It contained a note from the admissions department. Thanks for the props, it said. We're benefiting greatly from your confession. Now, life went on. My running mate, Karen Polito, and I were elected lieutenant governor and governor in November of 2014. We spent most of our first couple of months in office dealing with almost 10 feet of snow. So much snow that we wondered if Massachusetts had simply frozen over because the voters elected a Republican. But unlike the national stage, we've worked well with our colleagues on both sides of the aisle. We built a bipartisan cabinet. We focused primarily on building stronger communities throughout Massachusetts, and we kept the partisan noise to a minimum. People seem to appreciate it. As Kevin Kennedy pointed out, according to a regional national survey of voters in all 50 states, we have the highest approval rating at 75%. But don't worry about that going to our heads. My wife Lauren's reaction to it pretty much said it all. 75%. Congratulations, honey, you got a C. It's true. Was not my first C, but thankfully the folks at Hamilton didn't need to see my transcript to invite me. They simply knew that my fondness for this place has never wavered since I walked across the campus, talked to students, hung out with the basketball team, visited some classes, and pounded a few beers at Don's Rock over 40 years ago. And today, as I stand before all of you as a fellow degree recipient, I would offer 5 observations that might help you with your next acts. First, be soft on the people and hard on the issues. Good people can have honest disagreements. My mom, God rest her soul, was a die-hard Democrat. My dad is a Republican, and the dinner table I grew up at, was a laser light show of personalities, points of view, and lots of back and forth. I have friends who would not come to my house for a meal unless they were given a helmet. And my parents canceled each other's votes out for 60 years. My mom was actually kind of sick by the time I ran for governor, and I said, so is this the year where you and Dad vote for the same person? And she said, you know, dear, it is a secret ballot. My parents could agreeably disagree, and I learned a ton from hearing all sides of almost everything they talked about. Fundamentally, I learned that discussing differences is not a war, it's a conversation. And it's going on among people, and if it's going on among people who work for the same organization or the same cause, that's even more problematic, because it's doubly important to appreciate that there can always be more than one point of view, and it's important to hear them all. And while this may sound a little unusual, most of the time, people are debating means, not ends. And if I had a dime for every time someone changed my mind on what I thought was the best way to get something done, I could probably retire. Listening is also reciprocal. I listen because I want to be heard. These days, too many people in public life want to be heard, but they don't want to listen. And as a result, no one hears what anyone is saying, nothing gets done, and the vast majority of the rest of the public simply tunes the whole thing out. My dad said one time, and this is going to be the PG version, that when people see two people in a fight, they're pretty sure one of them's a jerk. They just don't know which one. And it's important for all of us to keep that in mind as we grow up. And my mom always used to say, God gave you 2 ears and 1 mouth for a reason. Listen up. I'm 60. I know I'm smarter than I was when I was 30. And much of that growth came from listening to people I thought I disagreed with. Second, don't confuse motivation with performance or effort with results. In the end, we get measured on how we perform, and that is as it should be. When I became the CEO of Harvard Pilgrim Healthcare in the late 1990s, this venerable 1 million member New England nonprofit health plan was nearly bankrupt. Nothing seemed to work, but everybody was working hard. And everybody felt like they were doing the right things. And everyone was also pretty sure the organization's troubles were somebody else's fault. We pointed out to people that ships go down all in. There are no survivors. And if you want to fix this place, you need to be part of the answer. So we started drawing process flows. Boring, wonky, and nerdy, I get that. But it helped people understand how we actually did our work. How did we actually sign up a hospital? How do we pay a claim? How did we sign up a physician group, a new employer? What happened when somebody called member services? At first, there was a lot of loud disagreement about who did what when because nobody really knew. But eventually, people would get to the point where they would understand, everybody would agree on the process, and then we'd all stand back and look at the way we did our work. And people's jaws would drop. No wonder we can't get anything done. No one could get anything done using the process that we were using in many cases. People could then focus on creating a process that made sense and worked. And while no one worked any harder after that, stuff got done. What you do is important, but how you do it is just as important. And an A plan with a C execution is just that. It's a C plan. Third, stretch yourself, and don't be afraid to fail. The great artist Michelangelo once said, "The greatest danger for most of us lies not in setting our aim too high and falling short, but in setting our aim too low and achieving our mark." Anybody who does anything that matters fails at some point along the way. Failure is almost always an important part of ultimate success. I also ran for governor in 2010 against then-incumbent Governor Deval Patrick, and I lost. But Lauren and I learned a lot from that experience, and we doubt if I had won in 2000, and we sincerely doubt that I would have won in 2014 if I hadn't run and lost in 2010. And early on in my career, I got counseled out of a job. Not because I was horribly bad at it, but just because I wasn't very good. I was down about it, but a friend of mine said to me, you know, there's a reason why the Germans make cars and the French make wine. It's what they're good at. This was obviously something that didn't fit for you. The great inventor Thomas Edison probably said it best. I found 10,000 ways not to make a light bulb. I didn't fail. And that brings me to number 4. Your first job will rarely be your last. I had 6 jobs before I graduated from college. Paperboy, movie theater usher, landscaper, gas station attendant, loading dock jack of all trades, bartender, doorman, and sports writer for a local paper. And I've had 14 jobs since I graduated, a clearly checkered career. And some of the jobs were really about figuring out what I was good at and what I wasn't good at, and I learned a lot along the way. And for the record, if I could have had any job at all when I was young, I would have wanted to be that sports writer, but for a bunch of reasons, that didn't work out either. Number 5, don't settle for average in anything. Work with people you like and respect. Do something you enjoy. No job's all fun and games. There are trade-offs everywhere. But if you do something you enjoy, the broccoli usually goes down right alongside the ice cream. Be a great friend, a wonderful parent, a spectacular neighbor, a devoted partner. Tell funny stories, coach youth sports, volunteer, serve your community. Be present, listen, and laugh. Appreciate the gifts we've all been given and try to make the most of your time here on earth. You're all just getting started. The slate is wiped mostly clean, except for all that stuff on YouTube. And the next chapter, and every chapter after that, is up to you. Make the most of it. Don't waste this precious chance that you have to make a difference. There are plenty of opportunities out there. In fact, they're everywhere. You just need to find them and go get them. God bless and good luck.
I call now upon Dean Margaret Gentry to present the class of 2017.
Will the class of 2017 please rise? President Whitman, the Hamilton College faculty attests that these individuals have fulfilled the requirements for the degree of Bachelor of Arts.
Thank you, Dean Gentry. Members of the class of 2017, you have completed the requirements for a Hamilton College degree, although by no means has your education ended. Acting on the authority delegated to me by the Board of Regents of the State of New York and the trustees of Hamilton College, I confer upon each of you the degree of Bachelor of Arts with all of the rights and privileges appertaining thereto, and admit you to the fellowship of educated women and men. In token whereof, I shall present your diploma as you come forward.
Please be seated. Before I commence proclamation of the names of each of our 503 graduates in the class of 2017, who come from 22 countries, 34 states and territories, and 129 of whom are receiving a commencement honor, I wish to say a few words about protocol. For fire safety requirements, we ask guests not to come forward to take photographs. There's no room for you at the front, and you may not block the aisles. The college photographers will capture a visual record of the moment of individual degree conferral. Most importantly, please hold your applause and other expressions of joy and relief until the last student's name is called. I understand the impulse to let your pride come forth when your loved one's name is called, but I ask that you check that initial impulse in order that each student's name can be heard and not drowned out by the cheers for the person who preceded them. Halfway through the calling of the names, Dean Nancy Thompson and I will trade places and call students up on stage left. It comes after the reading of the Ks, so if your surname is alphabetized at or following the letter L, you should break through to the other side. And now, let us begin. With the first row, please stand. Morena Laurel Adams. Natalie Christina Adams. Ayodele Nahemi Ajibaba. Megan Catherine Ahern. Mary Margaret Allen. Carolyn Bradley Ames. Emma Margaret Anderson. Charlotte Howard Andrews. Marta Antonev. Mikhailo Antonev. Aiden Joseph Uprindi. Molly McLaughlin April. William Maximilian Ardy. Anna Eugenia Arn. Taylor Elise Arnoff. Daphne Maria Asimakopoulos. Dorothy Rose Atkin Mapes. Madison Davis Atterbury. Kelsey Elizabeth Babcock. Alexander Daniel Veradari. Molly Elizabeth Barker. Javier Andres Berto. Carolyn Grace Barrett. Elizabeth Rebecca Berry. Janika Elaine Beatty. Caleb Christian Beck. Scott Daniel Becker. Adam Dubé Mikkel. Charlotte Foley Bennett. Samuel Elliott Bernstein. John James Bianco. Adeline Leslie Black. Beatrice Jean Blackwell. Thomas Paul Blanchard. Jake Meserve Blunt. Cole Spencer Bodak. Gordon Hunt Bogardus. Alexandra Bogorska. Shannon Catherine Bowley. Cameron Perry Boucher. Jonah Matthew Boucher. Kateri Marie Boucher. Sarah Adair Bowler. Olivia Faye Bell Box. Margaret Laurel Boyd. Brett Michael Bracco. Jean-David Brockman. Martina Brave. Megan Elizabeth Brennan. Zachary Morgan Brett. Catherine Osborne Bruns. Yulita Nicole Brown. Devin Eileen Brown. Ian Frederick Brown. Parija Nicole Prohoda Bruce. Brady Obuff Bruno. Lindsay Catherine Buff. Michael Zenon Burcheski. Matthew Christopher Berner. Brian Patrick Burns. Eliza May Burwell. Catherine Harrington Bushell. Rebecca Lauren Butler. Samantha Cox Buttrick. Alexander William Cadet. Genevieve Ann Caffrey. Daniel Peter Cahill. Leslie Abigail Campos. Connor Barrett Cantrell. Jonathan Aaron Capelin. Michael Panfilo Carducci. Kevin Joseph Carey. Jonathan James Karkeek. Samuel Hale Carletta. Madeline Emmy Karras. Ryan Wright Cassidy. Ana Margarito Castro Reynoso. Ching Hei Chan. Charlotte Purdy Chandler. Carolyn Marie Chow. Michelle Catherine Chapman. Shandy Zhang Chen. Taoyu Chen. Hanul Troy. Laura Lai Moy Leah Chong. Allison Lindsay Clark. Elias Brown Clough. Eliza Starbuck Coffin. Jonathan Daniel Cohen. Maxwell Jack Lee Coleman. Christopher John Collins. Eric Stiles Collins. Kenneth Charles Collins. Richard Francis Connors III. Howard Conti. Carolyn Rose Corbin. Alexander Moore Cornwell IV. Jeremy John Cottle. Kelsey Marita Crane. Jennifer Elizabeth Crawford. Finley A. Kruger. Connor Reynolds Crutchfield. Chanel Colette DaCosta. Catherine McLeod Daigle. Thomas Walter Dana. Emily Elizabeth David Schofer. Ella Renan Dean. Matthew Thorson DeAngelis. Kiani Love De Jesus. Amelia Elise Denny. Rebecca Renee DeTurk. Sharon D. Darren Anthony DeBello Jr. Matthew Carl Dickstein. Sarah Mae Demakis. Marissa Mae Dion. Andrew Clinton Dervin. Hamid Do. Wang Doan Do. Allison Rose Donahoe. Jillian Nicole Donzi. Carter Michael Dorset. Benjamin William Drebbing. Jonathan Marshall Dougal. Sarah Mackenzie Duncan. Robert James Dwyer. Rachel Imus Dietrich. Emily Anna Eisler. Taylor Kathleen Alaseji. Amy Catherine Alinsky. Gregory Michael Elliott. Chandler Dean Elwin. Charles Diedrich Inslee. Daniel Slater Farina. Charles Cooper Feinberg. Emma Hofford Feidelson. Charles Matthias Fennel. Brian Michael Ferguson. Michael Ryan Ferguson. Marcos Aria Faricio. Casey Lynn File. Carlos Martin Feynman. Andrew Christopher Fisher. Michelle Catherine Fish. Julie Ellen Flanagan. Maximilian Maury Flath. Andrew James Fletcher. Morgan Stewart Fletcher. Nicholas George Flora. Claire Macbeth Forbes. Alice Finley Dean Fort. Jason Richard Fortunato. Sarah Nicole Freddy. Madison Elise Frederick. Max Justin Friedman. Lily Colette Frost. Adelaide Jane Fuller. Catherine Marta Fugeshi. Sarah Elizabeth Gamlin. Ana Sofia Garcia Torres. Lena Garnett. Sophia Rains Gawkin. Alexandra Elaine Gay. Thomas Georges. Luke Simpson Gernert. James Anthony Giatino Jr. Hillary Harper Giles. Matthew Martin Glebus. Russell Scott Glick. Catherine Therese Robert Glusek. Matthew James Golding. Benjamin Joseph Goldman. Peter Ryan Goldsmith. John Allens Gonzalez. Haley Jean Goodrich. Rebecca Doris Gorlin. Teal Danny Marie Gosselin. Paul Green Jr. Jeffrey Cooper Greenwald. Jacqueline Marie Gill. Bennett Mark Hamburg. Susanna Rosemary Jane Hamer. James Philip Hamill. Edwin Robert Hamlin. Madsen Dim Harbo. Zachary Paul Hardmeyer. Arish L. Haroun. Rachel Emma Harshaw. Cartlin O'Casey Harton. Andrew Frederick Hazer. Rachel Ann Haskins. Sarah Beers Halen. Catherine Sanford Hayes. Charlotte Lyle Healy. Emily Kate Hedison. Spencer Aaron Heller. Matthew Jansen Herman. Amanda Elizabeth Hernandez. Tony Hernandez. Hadid Mahmoud Hiwadi. Lindsay Alyssa Heyer. Alejandro Bogadan Hershow. Hung Li Huang. Catherine Christine Hobbs. Sarah Elizabeth Hogobum. Michael Jafari Holliday Jr. Alexander Kenneth Hollister. Dylan Patrick Horgan. Juliana Song Horgan. Alexandra Elaine Horn. James Paul Hunter. Benjamin Maxwell Eisenberg. Ondine Jean Baptiste. Benjamin Herbert Jeffrey. Jordan Alexander Jenkins. Luke Thompson Jeton. Wei Yu Jin. Henry Manson Johnstone. Annika Melissa Jonas Day. Alexis Taylor Judd. Gumi Kang. Henry Hong Jun Kang. Dawit Kasa. Michael Dean Keating. Leo Julius Kell. Daniel Devonshire Kellaway. Kathleen Cecilia Kelly. Hannah Ford Cohane. Claire Alden Keat. Etishamullah Khan. Catherine Grace Kiesel. Isaac Daniel Kirshner. Nora Catherine Klimmer. Alexander Prescott Klausner. Casey Jones Kopp. Carolyn Elizabeth Casso. Jacob Martin Kraft. Caroline Pearl Creedberg. Natalie London Kuhn. James R. Kurtak. Will the next aisle please come up? Lindsay Ann Labarge. Siobhan Therese Lambert. Connor Mark Lamberti. Joannie Tafara Lamore. Truman Paul Lindowski. Mary Frances Langworthy. Rachel Gabrielle Lacino. Taylor Celeste Lawson. Dongji Lee. Abigail Jane Lightshoe. Nima Flinder Lima. Annie Lang. Zoe Banks L'Esperance. Tong Tong Lee. Irene Wan Lin. Julie Lin. Sharon Liu. Brent Allen Lobian. Audrey Grace Love. Ashton C. Lowenstein. Michael Jacob Lubelzik. Rebecca Crosby Lunt. Shirley Liu. Elizabeth Irene Lavoff. Haley Donovan Lynch. Samantha Gail Lynch. Hans Meyerhoff Lynn. Curtis James Lyon. Mungxian Ma. Oliver Marco Magnuson. Emily Rose Magruder. Natalia Gabrielle Mahabir. Meredith Almy Manchester. Kelly Nicole Manhart. Victoria Patience Ling Mel. Robert Brendan Marston. Samuel Harris Matlick. Cole Redden Matron. Ryan Francis McAlonan. Anne Clement McArdle. William Byrne McDonald McAuliffe. John Andrew McCaffrey. Matthew Thomas McCarran. Robert Mark McClure. Lilia Grace McNee. Ann Bernard McGarvey. John Kevin McGonigal. Maxwell Harris McKee Proctor. Alexandra Mavis Medellin. Brett Michael Mealy. Araceli Mendez. Jake Duval Mingus. Alexa Eileen Miriam. James Paul Musiti. Christopher James Swamley Meyer. Ruben Shane Milan Polisar. Brandon Anthony Miles. Terry Moise. Unel Monsalvo. Hannah Jansen Mooney. Charles Xavier Morin. Angela Joseph Morlani. Emily Nora Morris. Robert Garrett Morris. Hannah Murray Morse. Benjamin Tucker Nelson Moulton. Rebecca Elizabeth Mullally. Robert Christopher Murden. John Eric A. Nader. Brenda Navarez. Elliot Ross Nathan. Victoria Elizabeth Negron. Juliana Catherine Newman. Ben The Key Gwyn. Mackenzie Star Trin Nguyen. Mon Quoc Nguyen. Sarah Melissa Nolan. James Jordan Novick Smith. Brendan William Nyland. Colleen Marie O'Brien. Hannah Catherine O'Grady. Finley Liam O'Hara. Meredith J. Oringer. Hannah O'Leary. Helen Olivo. Seamus Jeremiah O'Neill. Rui Solana Osaka. Daniel Alexander O'Shea. Devon Grace O'Sullivan. Marina Lauren Palumbo. Helen Kim Park. Leah M. Parker. Philip John Parks. Catherine Mary Parkman. Jeanette Zarelli Para. Burke Sweetser Paxson. Jean Nicole Penn. Barbara Michaela Perego. Aiden Perret. Angel Gabriel Pichardo. Jack Hayes Pierce. John Joseph Slater Picus. Nikhil Pillay. Gabriella Pilson. Carolyn Rose Pintai Everett. Kyle James Pittman. Olivia Hartley Plimpton. Matej Alievich Pollitt. Harris Daniel Pollock. Christopher Craig Powell. Connor Michael Powers. Leah Victoria Icon Pranchke. Elizabeth Sykes Prescott. Caitlin Field Puglia. Colin McMyler Purcell. Sarah Elizabeth Purington. Lauren Nori Payo. Sylvia Maria Radulescu. Ashley Natalie Ramos. Emily Renee Randrup. Vishwa Rushwanya. Gregory William Reeves. Alexandra McVeigh Regan. Tyler Jeffrey Rehor. Matthew Alexander Reineman. Shomi Ren. Cesar Etzin Reniero. Caroline Patrice Reppert. Daniel Enrique Reyes Jr. Cody Chloe Reynolds. Emma Lillamore Reynolds. John Anthony Rhodes. Tyler Everett Ridley. Meg Elizabeth Riley. Stephen Fain Riopel. Kevin David Roback. David Anthony Rockpriori. Aaron Michael Rogers. Samantha Morris Rosen. Chase Abram Rosenberg. Eva Nicole Rosenkrantz. Hannah Jordan Rubin. Tyron Ann Ruff. Rebecca Elizabeth Ryan. Taylor Megan Ryan. William Webster Robotowski. Mabel Hammond Sabina. Linnea Jean Sahlberg. Kelsey Lang Salzville. Benjamin Cutler Schaefer. John O'Connell Schischler. Winston Charles Schrom. Raymond Matthew Schurmeyer Jr. Ilana Ray Schwartz. Lauren Virginia Scott. Emily Cooper Sears. George Howard Sagi Wright. Ida Shadroff. Jonathan David Shapiro. Connor Gardner Sharkey. Catherine Ellison Sherrill. Jean Jason Shim. Sharif Shrestha. Lily Nicole Samorian. Barbara Singha Kiat. Griffin O. Small. Bradley Austin Smellstore. Corrine Mary Garrett Smith. Margaret Louise Smith. Matthew Reed Snyder. Daniel Addison Snyder. Hunter Ray Subcheck. Nicholas Vincent Subcheck II. Thomas James Soldi. Emma Caitlin Solis Cohen. Abigail Elizabeth Southard. Elijah Emerson Spang. Joseph Reed Sparaccio. Sean Rogers Spasoff. Mark Allen McBriar Sperry. Jessica Meredith Springer. Hannah Ackley Stab. Elizabeth Phillips Starr. Louisa Jane Stone. Magdalena Ventislavova Steacheva. Hannah Lee Strong. Sarah Mayhua Sewell. Joseph Charles Sullivan III. Olivia Jane Sargent. Sarah Ann Tafe. Thompson Zhuaqiang Tai. Stephanie Talila Murray. Usainu Diala Tall. Alec J. Telsonia. Weilai Tan. James Somer Taylor. Ivanka Sophia Timitsky. Jenny Timolian. Abigail Hilda Toribio. Ty Torregrosa. Evelyn Marie Torscher. Tanapat Trianurak. Joshua Daniel Troop. Nicholas Robert Celios. Florence Annie Claude Trief. Jan F. Ulysses. Rebecca Lynn Vaccarello. Elena Suzanne Van Arm. Catherine Ann Veazey. Annalie Elizabeth Vernon. Jack Joseph Visiciccio. Carolyn Perry Von Stady. Christopher A. Wallace. Mariah Gell Walzer. Nushen Wang. Ji Chung Wang. Eli Magat Ward. Grace Elizabeth Ward. Kelly Rochelle Watts. Samantha Molly Weckenman. Nathan Breeth Weinrock. Raina Wallace Weinstock. Julia Ann Weisberger. Elijah Joseph Weisbrod. Jacob Thomas Weissman. Richard Walter Winter. John Frederick Werdemer. Jessica Grace Weston. Harrison Andrew Wetzler. Cedar Shannon Weicker. Amanda Malden Wheeler. Devin Hale White. Grant Lawrence Whitney. Jenny Margaret Meade Wilbur. Weston Thomas Wilbur. Christopher Conrad Williams. Rachel Elizabeth Williams. Caleb Duane Williamson. Kelt Albert Wilska. Jenna Wilson. Maud Silverman Wilson. Megan Elizabeth Wirtz. Alex Joseph Witonsky. Ryan James Wolfsberg. Jamin Wu. Ryan Sun Wu. Michelle Rika Woodward. Yingfei Wu. Clayson Campbell Wyckoff. Ning Shi. Lisa Yang. Tenayu Yang. Yifan Yang. Jacqueline Winter Young. Laura Francis Young. Logan Yu. Emerson Zhuim. Mingji Zhu. Julio Angelo Ziagi. Aristotle Andreas Zigoras. Paige Danielle Zupan. And Nicholas John Zaraski.
Congratulations to all our graduates. I call now on our class speaker, Catherine Bruns, who hails from Portland.
Thank you, President Whitman. So if sitting through 500 names being read aloud wasn't enough to make you irritable, I'm now going to ask you to think about physics. Here's the problem that we want to solve. Imagine a cow standing at the top of a hill. Now, let's say the cow begins to roll down the hill. We know the cow's speed and its mass, and we want to calculate when that cow will reach the bottom of the hill. This problem seems relatively straightforward, but looks can be deceiving. First, I'm not really sure how to approximate the motion of a cow rolling. I mean, look at its shape. It's kind of lumpy, it has an udder, it has legs, and what if it's windy outside? I'm from the Pacific Northwest, so from my experience, it's also probably raining. We have some tough variables to deal with here, so we need to find a way to simplify this. Now arrives the common physics joke. If we are going to solve this problem, we have to assume that this is a spherical cow in a vacuum. No legs, no wind, no rain. Our unrecognizable round cow and an impossible, air-resistance-less location makes all of our calculations much less complicated. Reality is often far too complex to take at face value, but if we make things neat and simplified, they become easily solvable. Our dear spherical cow, so symmetric, so predictable, so not lumpy. Now, I don't know about you, but I live my life by the spherical cow. I became a math major for a reason. I like my problems clear and my answers solvable. I like to organize and color code, Give me a graph. Give me a timeline. Give me some flashcards. I stayed far, far away from history and politics courses. That's too messy for me. There's too many possibilities and open-ended questions. I want my questions closed. I don't want a real cow. I want a perfect, algorithmic, solvable, spherical cow. I apply this orderly logic outside the classroom as well, and I don't think that I'm the only one who does. When the dryer in Babbitt accepts my Hill card, I predict that it will dry my clothes. Why then does it just sit there and eat my money? When I try to be technologically savvy and insert a video into my PowerPoint presentation for class, I predict that it will dazzle my professors. Why then does the video not play while I stand there awkwardly in front of the class? And this thinking that if I do something logical and intentional, it should have logical and intentional results. This is how many of us hope that life after graduation will be. But we all know the sad reality of our situation is that spherical cows do not exist. You find a roommate off Craigslist, and they seem great when you move in, but then they never shower. You live at home after graduation hoping to save money, but then your little brother asks you every day why you're single. You're qualified for your dream job, and you nail the interview, but then they don't hire you. How do we make sense of a world with no spherical cows? How do we make sense of life after Hamilton when our daily challenges aren't as straightforward as questions on an exam or navigating a dining hall? But this is the benefit of a liberal arts education. Although abstract math and German 110 probably weren't the most practical courses for my future, Hamilton has left us with more than the specifics in our textbooks. We leave Hamilton with the tools to navigate postgrad's unpredictable, messy, friction-filled reality. You have a roommate who never showers, so you use your quantitative skills to calculate air fresheners into the budget. You live at home with your pestering little brother, so you use your oral communication skills to persuade him to mind his own business. You aren't hired for that job, so you use your writing skills to expertly apply for the next one that comes your way. These are simple examples, but I hope that the sentiment is clear. We have been prepared to solve unexpected problems, to communicate successfully, to lead effectively. No cow is spherical. Every cow is different. Our unforeseen hurdles will arrive when we least want them to and when they logically shouldn't. But we have these far-reaching tools at our disposal to confront these hurdles head on. And these obstacles are truly what make life exciting. At our 10-year reunion, sure, I'd love to hear about the swift triumphs of all of your careers, but I'm more interested in hearing what you triumphed against, what crazy thing was thrown your way that you navigated expertly and creatively. I am eager to see what challenges we, the class of 2017, accept and throw down at our feet in the coming years. But what about the obstacles that we can't overcome? Well, I think we'll face those on the day that pigs fly, or more fittingly, the day that cows roll. Thank you.
Well, there you have it. Go forth then, members of the class of 2017. Make the world a better place. I know you will make us proud, and I hope you will come home often. Your alma mater loves you. Farewell.
Please rise while we sing Carissima, the words to which are printed in your program. Please remain standing for the benediction.
And now we go out to begin again. Thank God. Thank God we get this amazing chance to recreate ourselves, which means we get the chance to recreate a world into a new place where there is no such thing as a refugee or a terrorist attack or someone without clean water. What is stopping us from creating a world where we might all feel as though we belong, as though cows could roll? Let our path be guided by love, which means that we will prioritize reconciliation and healing above proving ourselves to be standing on the moral high ground. Let our path be guided by the kind of love which implements the demands of justice with not only our individual strength, but with the power of our community committed to inclusion. And finally, don't think that you have to live this life of love with perfection, nor do you need to wait until you get your act together. When does that ever happen? As the late, great Leonard Cohen puts it, ring the bells that still ring. Forget about your perfect offering. There's a crack in everything. That's how the light gets in. Find your cracks. Offer them as a gift to the world so that we can recognize our kinship of brokenness together. And if we realize that we are all hindered by the cracks in our goodness, who knows what kind of amazing light will shine on us. Don't forget us. We love you. Amen.
Everyone is invited to the post-commencement picnic on the Dunham Green after the ceremony. Please remain standing in your places until after the procession has left the auditorium. This assembly is adjourned.